All right, Victoria, are you with us?
I'm here.
There you are. So, Victoria, so glad that you're with us today. I started coaching with Victoria, I want to say January. If I'm wrong, I'm close. And Victoria's been with EXP since May of 2020. However, she's also been a real estate agent since May of 2020. So she's 3 years on this journey. And she had a major breakthrough in the last year. She went from $4.2 million to $11.2 million in 1 year. Now, that's a huge accomplishment in a good market. However, as all of you know, we're in a shifting market, meaning that fewer homes are being sold. Now, fewer homes are being sold, and there's more real estate agents in the industry. So it's extremely competitive. And yet she tripled her business year over year in a very tough market. Now, she also iconed in year 3, and she is on track to icon in record time in year 4. So, Victoria, if it's okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want the rest of today's podcast to be about you, not me. So, first question, was it easy?
No, it was not easy. It was exhausting.
Tell me more about that.
So I worked overtime. We all do. We can't predict our hours. However, I plug into things. I network in our company at EXP. I know this isn't with just EXP. So I network in my company. I get referrals. I get repeat referrals because I like to make those relationships and keep them good. I show up to meetings. I plug in. Anytime someone wants to give me some kind of education and I know they're where I want to be, I show up. It was not easy because I'm not a good time manager. I knew I needed a coach, especially going into year 4, because all the chaos that was here, I needed to somehow organize it where I wasn't stressing my family out, where I could show up for dinner, where I could actually make dinner, where I wouldn't have to miss games. So that's where John comes in and has helped me organize all of that chaos and job juggling. So it has gotten easier, and this is my biggest month in real estate. I have more under contract than I ever have, and I don't feel burnt out.
More under contract than you ever have. What does that look like, Victoria?
I have 8 under contract. We're all, most of them are at the end. So I know they're good. And then I have 3 listings about to come up that we're getting ready for at the end of the week.
Wow. So, one of the things we learn is in order to get to better, we have to get to different. So the next question is, what changed? What did you do different in order to get to better, Victoria?
I got a coach and I listened. I knew year 4 was transition for me. I will fight to say I have the best group of people in the company. They pour into me. Whatever I need, whatever I ask, they help. And my perspective changed when I realized, I don't know if you guys watching Guy Johnson, he was part of the video John just showed, any goals you have, it's bigger than you. For the fact when people pour into you, you owe them to succeed, right? If I'm using John as a coach, it would be a slap in the face for me not to utilize what he's showing me. And to be a testimony of what he's doing. So all of my team at EXP, when they pour into me, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to sit on it. I'm not going to wait on it. I'm going to use it. And I'm not a people pleaser in that way, but I feel like there's a responsibility there that when people pour into you and they're helping you, that you use what they give you because it clearly worked for them, right? I am also a big believer that all systems people use to succeed will work for everyone. I do. You can argue with me on that. That's okay. But I do believe it for the sense that people quit before they see the fruit of it, right? If you farm for 6 months and you say, oh, that didn't work for me. Well, you didn't finish. You didn't finish the job. You got to keep going until it works for you because it is going to work. If you door knock, if you call expired, I've been dabbling in expireds. I took John's Rainmaker class. I learned script. I was not wanting to do scripts. However, it educated me on how to talk to people. You don't have to be a robot, but it gives you better comebacks for rejections. I ask better questions now. I am more listing heavy than buyer heavy, which was my goal for year 4. And I knew that transition was coming. So 4 months before my year 4 started, I knew I needed John because he was doing 120 listings a year. I was not. I did 17 listings last year out of 40 deals. So I was buyer heavy, which I love my buyers.
So 17 listings out of 40 deals last year, Victoria.
Yeah.
How many listings so far in 2023?
So from I can tell, I was telling John this last week on our coaching call, from January to today last year, I only had 3 listings. So I have 3 coming up. I have another list. I got 2 yesterday. I will be 15. So I tripled
from 3 to 15.
Yeah. In this time last year. I'm still buyer heavy, but I'm starting to get out of that.
So if everybody would just pause on that for a moment, Victoria. Hey, by the way, somebody asked in the chat, Kelly did, and share with us where are you? What market are you in? We're all wondering, Victoria, where is this? Where are you?
So here's a funny thing. I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm a small city. I'm not in the Charlotte market. I'm not in the Raleigh market where they blow up, right? Our average home is $289,000. So out of $11.2 million, do you know what my average sales price was? It wasn't even $300,000. So we are also in the top 10 for most affordable places to live. How I market my 2 buyers and investors. This is probably the best place in the country to invest in. Unload your money here. I can do that speech all day of why. I do shut down the noise of the market. And when people complain, oh, this is my slowest, we have to work no matter what the market looks like, right? People are moving because they take new jobs. People are selling to get out of a heavy debt. People are buying no matter what the market is. We have to find those people.
So what does lead generation look like for you, Victoria?
It is, I do some marketing in my neighborhood, home equity reports. We had a big surge over the last year in my neighborhood. So I send them a report, not to say I want to sell your house. It's a cover letter. This is who I am. I want to show you what's sold in our neighborhood and give you a rough value of what your house is worth, because I want you to be as excited as I am, right? Equity in your home is huge. I didn't come from anything. This is the biggest purchase I've ever made. So when the value goes up, I'm like, all right then. So I send those out. I do call expireds for sale by owners. I use all of John's scripts, practice them. So I don't sound so formal. And I use our workplace app for EXP. I've never paid for leads. I do generate some through KV Core, but I don't expect every lead to be none of them are layups, right? It takes time. It takes time to get to know them, how you're spending their money, because we are, right? And we want to be careful and we want them to trust us and be comfortable with us. So lead gen for me is a lot of different ways, but when I lead gen at home, I'm going through my KV core or I'm calling expireds and for sale by owners. And I get my list of expireds off my MLS every day. I go into RPR and find their information. And then I have a Red-X list where I pull their phone numbers or emails. And there's not that many expireds because we don't have a lot of listings, right? So you can do that in 15 minutes, easy.
So Victoria, I want to talk to you about multiple offers because I know this is something that you've really got down at a really high level. At the same time, I'm speaking with everyone else. I know you have questions for Victoria. So if you do, go ahead, raise your digital hand because I'm going to break for questions here towards the end of today's call. So put your digital hand up and we'll get through as many questions as we can with the time that we have left. Victoria, you have a strategy for how you deal with multiple offers when you're representing the buyer.
I do. I find out what the seller needs. If it's highest price. I run a soft comp to make sure that is going to appraise. We are a due diligence state. So whatever money you put up in due diligence, buyers do not get back. Sometimes I will pay my inspector $100 to go with me. And he dives into the big things while we look at the house, especially if it's done by video. I usually have, if I know it's a hot property, I usually have the offer written before that way we put in the numbers in the driveway. I noticed in the last 2 years of the industry, it is one of the first 3 offers on the table. If they don't want to get up at 8 a.m., that's too bad. They have to get up at 8 a.m. We will be the first showing. And if it's taken, I will worm my way in and tell the listing agent, we have to go at this time. Can we share it? I don't care if someone else is at my showing. It doesn't bother me at all. So I do get aggressive. I tighten up our terms. I already have the inspection set up. I call my inspector, hey, how quick can you get in this? Because we're going to get this house. Out of over 50 buyers, I can count on one hand how many times I put in more than one offer. 2 of those I put in 3 offers and till we got it, because sometimes people have to get their feelings hurt. The other 3, we got it on the second try. And there's a reason for that, because my very first client, when I realized what the market was going to be, she didn't get that. We stood in the house that she wanted. She was a single mom. She was finally getting out of the condo life where she raised her family. And this is a hardworking person who pulled herself up, right? This was the most important thing to her family and to me. We stood in the kitchen. They wouldn't accept our offer because they were taking another offer. We couldn't even write it up. And she cried, and she is not a crying person. And I was like, this will never happen again. This will never happen again as long as I represent someone.
Love that.
And it didn't.
What's next for you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Did I hit you with a question you weren't ready for, Victoria?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's okay. I can give you something easier to talk about if that's okay.
Well, I don't know. Year 4, I want to see how I transition and then plan 5 and 6. I do have an idea that year 5, I would like to be strictly a listing agent. So I'm spending year 4 seeing what that looks like, building up to it. I do work in agent attraction. I want to build that for myself. I'm rebranding and structuring a team that is going to be statewide. It's not going to be my name. It's not going to be a structured team. But our branding is going to be so good. Anyone can use it wherever they live. I want to offer, I want to be so confident that when clients come to me, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm finally gaining that confidence that I know yesterday I had a listing appointment for the new construction. I knew exactly what they had to build in this neighborhood. I knew exactly where it was. I didn't have to go look at it. And I've already sent them floor plans for the new construction. I said, I know exactly, and I felt confident in that. I didn't have to second guess myself. I knew what they would sell for, and I knew what it would cost to build them.
All right,
So-
one more question before we get to
Yes.
questions from the audience. And so far, Kelly, you're up, and then Shoshana, you're up after Kelly. One of the things that inspired me to ask you to be a guest host is the conversations you and I have, coaching conversations. You talk about your family a lot, and 3 beautiful children. And one of your posts recently really attracted my attention, and it was the post that you wrote about Jackson. Jackson recently turned 16 years old. And you talked about making adjustments in this post. And as I'm reading what you wrote, I'm hearing lessons that you learned from your 16-year-old. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think it's very parallel to what I do and in sales, right? People want to get rich quick. Doesn't work that way. So my son's 16, he was cut from the baseball team this spring. He's a freshman. He just turned 16, so he's 15. And the high school he goes to, they are always a state championship team, or they are always right up there. They usually have 2 kids a year signed to the majors. We easily could have put him in another school and he made the team. He chose not to. He's going to put the work in. And when we had a lot of talks about when he got cut, it crushed me, it crushed him. We didn't expect it. At the same time, I kept him out of school one day. We went and I let him sulk for one day, and we got leadership books, and I said, let's develop this in the meantime, right? And it's like, when you don't have any business, you got to develop yourself in the meantime, and you got to work for the next business, right? So his coach said when he didn't make it, he said, you didn't adjust your swing, right? How often do we not adjust our swing? We don't adjust to the market temperature. We wait for things to fall in our lap instead of go get them. You can't do that in this business. He can't wait for something to fall in his lap, because if he does that, these other kids are getting better. So we talked about you could be bitter or you could get better, right? So he's taken initiative to talk to his batting coach and make his own sessions and his own appointments. His pitching coach, his trainer, he upped his training times 10. So he's zoned in and he's focused. And I think sometimes we got to get our feelings hurt to know we never want to do that again. We never want to feel like that again. And that way, when he does make it, it's because he earned it, right? Everyone on this call may deserve business. You may be the best person there is to help people. That doesn't mean you earned it. They're 2 different things. We have to earn the business, but we do deserve the reward once we earn it. Does that make sense?
Love it.
So that's the season he's in. He's on a great travel team right now. And he gets up before school. He goes to his trainer. I go with him. He hits on the tee. Like, he wants this. And I'm not going to talk to the coach and be like, what are you thinking? You know how many parents actually do that?
Yeah.
Not me. No.
You know, Victoria, believe it or not, we're almost out of time. And I definitely want to get to a few questions that we have from, well, Kelly, let's go to you first. And then Shoshana, you're up next. And if you have a question, put your digital hand up there in the air, guys. I'll get to as many of them as I can. All right, Kelly, you're up.
All right, so I was just going to ask the conversion rate for your FSBOs and expireds. And are you going exactly how John's taught us this whole time?
I am in some ways. So he has taught me to narrow down my thoughts because I am a talker. And so I stay on point and I have the bullet points right there. And I use his scripts almost verbatim. Sometimes the conversation changes, but I always try to reel it back in to say, hey, I may have a buyer for your house. When's a good time for me to come look at it?
Love that. Shoshana.
Good morning. My question is, how do you organize your A clients, B clients, and C clients? Like how do you communicate with them and how often?
Good question.
What do you mean my A clients, B clients, and C clients? Because all my clients are A's.
So a client is that's gonna be someone is ready within right now until 3 months. B is
Okay.
yeah, so it's timeline.
Timeline. I use Mondays to follow up with everyone. Even the ones who I spend an hour follow up every Monday. And it's usually a quick text. I don't call because I'm long-winded, right? But I'll, and I do ask for business. Even if they're not ready, I ask for business and it works. I put all my I do dumb stuff, right? When showing. And I'm not kidding. When I post it on Facebook, I always end up with a deal. It's wild. I'm like, this is why you shouldn't use me, but people will slide into my DMs. I do. So even the C's, when I follow up, maybe I'll follow up with them every other week if I can't fit them in on Mondays. Monday is absolute follow-up for any clients. And it's just general conversation. Hey, just thinking about you, wanted to know how you're doing. And they bring it back to real estate. If it's my A clients ready to go, I'm saying, hey, this popped up. Does this one interest you?
I'm going to hit mute just because we have some background noise, Victoria. You're good. Keep talking, but you're going to have to take yourself off mute because I just muted you.
It's my dogs. No, so just feel I'm a big people reader. Just feel out if you think you're annoying them. I ignore any of that because I'm like, there's no reason you shouldn't want to talk to me. I'm fun, right? But I use Mondays, and anyone in my pipeline that have shown interest in real estate, I will contact them on Monday, even if it's just, hey, checking on you. How are you doing?
Victoria, awesome stuff. We're at 9:26, so we're at the end of our call. I hope all of you got tremendous value today. I know I was taking notes. One of the things that I love about Zoom is I'm watching you guys, right? So I can see who's taking notes. And there's a lot of faces here today that I don't see every day. And I'm super excited about that. Victoria, that says a lot for you because they showed up for you. They're not showing up for me, but they showed up for you. So that's a good thing.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I hope you guys like this format. I will be bringing more guest speakers to you in the future. They have a lot to live up because it's gonna be hard to do a better job than Victoria did today. And I want to thank you for the honor and the privilege of being your coach, Victoria. It's been a tremendous ride for me. I am so proud of you. And you did an amazing job today. So everybody give it up for Victoria. That was awesome.
Thank you. If you guys need help with anything, you know where to find me.
Hey, if you don't mind, put your contact information in the chat real quick, Victoria.
And for the North Carolina people in here.